Hi, everybody. Claudia Glassman here with Mighty Oak Parenting. I am continuing on the topic of play today. I know I talked about it earlier in the week and just wanted to keep it going a little bit, give you guys more information about it. My background as a play therapist makes me passionate about playing with children, but I really want to highlight that sometimes as parents, we get so caught up in trying to get things done and we lecture. I'm guilty of this, having conversations with my kids and, forgetting sometimes, even as a play therapist, that if we can turn it playful or we can play with our children, that they learn so much more and it resonates more with them because play is the language that they speak. It is the way they learn. And so as parents, if we can tap into that, then we'll have an easier time with some of the aspects of parenting. So the special playtime is something that I've recommended to clients in the past, and it does a couple of things. So if we give our child a time to play where they're in charge, so this is special. This is different than how we may play with our children in other ways. So the special playtime allows the child to be in charge. There's no judgment. There's no evaluation. It's just your child having space to do what they need to do through play, and you're along for support, paying attention, and to interact if they ask you to. And so this is based on Gary Landreth's work and his child-parent relationship therapy. And it does a couple of things. So having a space where your child feels wholly supported, validated, and non-judged allows them to begin processing feelings, thoughts, issues, stressors that they may not be able to process in other ways. And as you guys know, and I mentioned in my last video, if you saw it, about my daughter who's playing last week and brought up something that has been on her mind for a couple of years that I didn't know about, right? Because of this moment and this time and this attention and freedom I gave her to play. And so it allows for the expression of things, processing of issues. It also deepens our connection with our children because we're, for this special time, 100% connected, non-judging, supportive, and just there with our child. And they sense that. So it does a couple of things. So this is also, special playtime is also what I've really recommended, not only to build attachment and a relationship with your child, but also if your child's having behavioral challenges, this can oftentimes help work some of those out too. There's a lot of detail that goes into really setting this up. So I am just going to talk about creating the special playtime in general. I'm considering doing a webinar in the future that will go into more detail on this. If you guys are interested, comment in the comments below, and I will work on getting one maybe up and running later this year or early next year. But let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I'd be happy to do it because play is so important and can do such amazing things with our children. So what we want to look at is, how do we start? So the first thing we really want to do is, for the special playtime, talk to our kids about it. We're going to do a special playtime. This is going to be different than our normal playtime, right? This will be, pick a location in your home or wherever, make it consistent, right? So same day and time each week, same location, just so your child can really get, when they walk in the door for that special playtime, the stage is set, right? And that they're ready for this. You want to turn off your phones, make sure there's no interruptions. Put a do not disturb sign on the door. If you've got more than one child, you're going to need to pick a time when the other child or children won't interrupt. So this gets a little tricky if you've got more than one child, but it can be done, right? Just maybe have someone else come play with your other child. Or, for example, I do this with my oldest when my youngest is at dance class. We sit in the lobby of the dance studio, and that's our special time. And so it can be, if you can squeeze it in there. You want to turn off your phone, do not disturb sign, make sure it's quiet. You want to give your full attention. And this really means your body language has to convey that. So you want to sit on your child's level, so most likely on the floor, assuming you can sit on the floor, right? If you have health issues or body or back issues or whatever that prevents you from doing that, just explain that to your child. But do the best you can to sit on the floor. You want to face your child. Your eyes follow your child. Your ears are listening, right? Your body is facing your child, just to really convey that your attention is 100% theirs for this 30 minutes. Okay, so this play is different because in these 30 minutes, your child leads. This is the most challenging part, I think, for parents. We have to fight the resist to correct, to teach, to change their story in any way, to identify what they're doing, right? We really want to let them go. And so this means not asking questions, just allowing your child to express themselves and to play. Not engaging or not becoming part of the play unless you're invited. So your child may invite you and say, Mommy, Daddy, come play. Can you do this? Or they may be totally happy with you just sitting there watching them. So be prepared for each one. And that may change week to week. One week they may want you involved and one week they may not. And that's okay too. So we don't want to ask questions because we don't want to break their flow and their interruption. They're working, they're processing something, they're moving through something. And if we ask a lot of questions, we're interrupting that process. And so we really want to let them do the work. We want to do what's called reflective responding. So we want to reflect what we see. We want to reflect thoughts, feelings. I think about this kind of as like sports commentators. You just say what you see. And on a very basic level. For example, if your child is, coloring or drawing something, you may want to say, oh, you're coloring that there, right? Really vague. You don't even want to identify what it is because you may think it's, a tree and they may say, no, that's a castle, right? But every time we identify something and we identify it incorrectly, we're taking them out of their zone, right? And that process. So you really want to stay vague, you seem very calm drawing. If they're playing with puppets, for example, or a doll and the doll gets excited, wow, they seem excited, right? I wouldn't even identify if it's a he or she. We don't know, right? We don't know what's going on in the play. So they seem happy. They seem excited. And to really just stay in the moment and really just reflecting exactly what you see in that moment. We don't want to correct. So if your child's coloring a picture and they make the sky green, this isn't the place to say, well, the sky's not really green, right? In these 30 minutes, it can be whatever they want. Again, you've got to think about this, like they're working out what they need to work out and they're expressing what they need to express. And this is one of the few times that a child doesn't have to learn, be taught, be lectured, be corrected, right? And we really want to give that to them. When, again, we don't want to name things for them. And this is hard. This is probably the trickiest thing because you'll stumble on this and that's okay. Because here's the deal. Even if you do all of these things wrong and you label things by accident and you take your child out of their zone and you're still giving them your undivided attention for 30 minutes and do not undervalue that. So, the goal is to interact this way. But giving them these 30 minutes is better than not. So don't get frustrated if you're stumbling and not doing it, right. Because it's better to do this and to even just the attention and that bonding time is invaluable. And again, we want to avoid judgments. This is another tricky one. So when they draw a picture and show it to you, to fight the urge to say, good job, that was great. You can say, you seem very proud of your picture. You're happy with the way it turned out, right? You're not saying what you think about it. But you're identifying how they feel about it. And as a side note, this is super helpful to do in general. Some of these strategies can translate into parenting, in the day-to-day parenting, and can be very helpful in that too. But that's probably a whole nother video. Okay. Ending the playtime. So during the playtime, we want to avoid labeling things. We want to avoid giving judgmental statements. We want to let the child stay in charge. We want to avoid teaching and we want to follow what the child does, both with our body and our interactions. Ending the playtime can be tricky, especially, when it's first implemented because your child is going to love this attention, right? And is going to love this feeling of a non-judgmental, open space where they have your full undivided attention with no interruptions. So ending will be tricky. It's helpful to give a 5-minute warning, if 5 minutes till our special playtime's over. And then at the 30-minute mark, when your time's up, you can set a timer if that helps. That helps some people. Our time is up for today. they're going to groan and moan or beg for more. And you say, we're done for today. Our special playtime's over. We'll do this again next, Saturday at 3 or whatever time you set up. The key here is to be firm, but calm. Like, our time is over, but understand that they're going to have a hard time with this, or that they may have a difficult time. You can start cleaning up, moving towards the door. You may even have to suggest another activity to get them to move on to the next thing. So let's go outside and play, or let's go get a snack now, or whatever the case may be, to see if you can kind of transition them to the next activity. The more you do this, the easier that transition will get. I mean, I remember kids struggling to get some children out of my playroom. And that could last several weeks because they just got so much from being there that they didn't want to leave and they didn't want it to end. We as adults have that too. We've got moments that are so fantastic that I want this to stay forever, right? And our children are no different. And so I had children that really struggled to leave my therapy room, and I would just have to empathize and say, our time is up today and we'll do this again next week. And I kind of leave the door and usher them out, and you can get them to leave, but it gets easier, right? The more they do this, the more they know, okay, next week I'll be here again and I can do this again and I get this again. It gets easier. The younger your child, the longer that may take. But they will get there. So the key is stay calm and don't get frustrated. Just understand that they loved it so much, right? That they're having a hard time stopping because they just want to continue spending time with you. So try it out. Try setting up this 30-minute playtime. Again, if you're interested in a webinar with way more details about this, there's a lot we can do with what toys can be available and really how to set it up and how to handle different scenarios that come up during this playtime. I am more than happy to do that. I just comment and let me know if that's something you're interested in. Otherwise, try it out. Have a great time playing, and I will talk to you all again soon. Bye.